What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling and rise video. Alright guys, we got ourselves a really difficult stage. A lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video on this. I haven't had time because I haven't had a chance to do reverse mode on my main account. As a matter of fact, I haven't really been focusing on my main account too much, just doing dailies, logging off, etc. Just because I do want to save some content to be able to do live with you guys. But I decided, you know what, today's the day. Let's just get the ruler of the lower floors done in reverse. A lot of you guys have been asking about how I tackled this and how I got it done. So I'm going to show you guys what I did, team I used, etc. Now you can do this with a lot lower power. You don't necessarily need to have this much power as I do. The main key components here are going to be two different people. Number one, it's going to be Min and Sa and Alicia. Those are the three components, but the two main ones you really want to do, like, deck out as much as you possibly can, are going to be Sa and Alicia for two reasons. Number one, Sa is going to be your main DPS plus breaker. Alicia is going to be your second main DPS plus CC control. And Min realistically is there to keep them all full of power and keep punishment on the opponent as much as possible. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what I did and how I got it done. So this is the team setup here. Now, ideally, you can put Min first if you want. It doesn't matter. Like, he'll give punishment anyways. But you want to push as much DPS in the beginning as you can. So having Alicia in the front is not a bad idea. And then having Sa there just to do the break after the fact is also not a bad idea. So here's my setup here for Min. I've got his level 40 weapon. If you can push this to the next level, by the way, this weapon here is going to give you even more damage dealt with Heavenly Blessing. It's what will really push the content even further for him. But you guys can see here, in terms of artifacts, I've got myself the full set here for Destroyer, and I've got myself the Aquamarine set. And then for Sa here, we've got ourselves the Breaker set, specifically because we want to break fast and also want to do more damage when it's in break state, because once you break Vulcan, he's in break state pretty much the entire fight. And then, of course, Viri here. Now, this can be altered to Berserker, Executioner. I think those are the three best ones to go for her in this case. But that's the setup there. Now, in terms of stats, just so you guys can see, I've got way overkill on crit. I have no idea how that happened. And then I've got critical hit damage a little bit low, but I've got a really high HP. So critical damage, you actually want to get higher for her. I think the problem I was having here is I couldn't really find boots that actually had what I needed for critical hit damage on those specific stats on this specific set. Right there's the only one I had, but then I'd be like sacrificing, I don't know, really not a lot of the HP, I guess, but I would get a lot more crit hit damage. So you could try that as well, too, to see if that helps out. I believe the crit hit damage might be better here, but I'll leave it as it is and how I beat it, okay? And then, of course, Alicia here, we got the Solid Foundation. Now, this can be switched over to the toughness set. So if you guys have a good toughness set for her, I suggest going with that instead. It is actually going to do better for her overall. But at the end of the day, this works just as fine. At least it did for me. So if you are looking to use a good set for her, go with the Solid Foundation or Toughness set, and those two will probably carry you the whole way through. Okay, so you guys can see her stats here as well. Now, if you're in the red here, which I'm going to be, you're going to suffer quite a bit in terms of your crit hit. So it's going to be a little bit of RNG involved, and it's right down to the wire. Even with this much power, 384, the 561 is huge, obviously. So being in the red, as you guys are aware, gives you a penalty on all of your damage, all your crit damage, your precision, your crit rate, etc. Everything gets it. So any form of like extra crit you can add is going to help a lot. So that's why we have Vigorous in the front, Blade second. These two don't really matter at the end of the day. So this is what we're going to tackle with. I'll show you guys how I do this fight, and hopefully it'll help. Again, if I fail it, I'll start over again. Obviously, if I don't, then we got it done. So it's going to come down to the wire. It usually does with this fight. So first thing you want to do is you want to walk in quickly and don't let him stomp on you. If you get stomped, you're fucked. Excuse the language. So first thing I'm going to do is go in with a little bit of Min and Sa action. Make sure he's got everything he needs going here. And then you want to bring in Alicia. Do some damage. Do it quick and do it fast. And you don't want to spend too much time here. Just get your two big hits in. Do your cast. And then do the next two big hits and get the hell out. It's pretty much how it does. You just want to get that damage in quick because you want Sa to be able to break afterwards. And it's important to do that break because you want as much damage as you possibly can going in, right? Now, do you cast your ultimates anyways? Because you're going to build them so fast with Min here. It's not too big of a deal to use them when you can, okay? Okay, remember, this is going to require you to do a little bit of survivability as well. It's not all about just damage because he does hit freaking hard in this, okay? So keep that in mind as well, too. That right there would kill you if you miss it. Okay, there's a break. Bring Min back in. Make sure punishment is up as much as possible. And then wait for that ultimate to be cast, and then we can move on from this, and then get Alicia in here as well too. Okay, so here we go. We want this ult because it increases crit damage and everything else along with it. And you're gonna have to do some quick rotations here, guys. So make sure you're doing on top of that. Go. 1, 2, cast this. Make sure punishment is always on when you're casting your specials, guys. It's so important to have that on there. Do one more. Get Saw in there. Do your alt here. Now, by this point, they still have the Heavenly Blessing buff on them. So you want to definitely take advantage of that while it's available for you, okay? So when he does that right there, that don't do anything because you can't actually hurt him outside of any elemental damage. So you're just wasting damage there. So don't cast your alt in there during that phase when he goes up like that, okay? Okay, here we go. Going back in. I get that man back in here again. Here you want to just do punishment quickly and then get your Heavenly Blessings up. There we go. And now you want to bring in Alicia as quickly as you can, okay? So don't spend too much time doing anything else. Get your 2 core attacks in and then wait for your alt and then cast your alt ASAP, okay? Now again, you guys see punishment is up. I've got my buff from Min, and you need those buffs up. Like, you absolutely need them up. And then here you want to bring her in, do her alt. See the rotation? It's almost like trying to keep up with everything that Min does and make sure the damage continues going. Now, it's going to be a lot of RNG here, guys, because of one reason and one reason only, and that is you need to connect with your crits, and because this is such a crazy long fight, and it does take quite a bit of effort to get done. If your crits are failing, you're going to probably not finish this fight, to be honest with you. Like, it's such a time crunch. Okay, here we go. Bring Saw in. Again, cast, move. Don't get hit too hard with this, okay? It's like, honestly, it will mess you up. If you get hit too many times, you will die. Like, it's like it takes like two or three hits for him to pretty much take out a full HP unit. So it's not something you want to play around with. Okay, you guys can see we're almost down to the wire already. Let's see if we go. Uh-oh. Ah! Look at that. Just... oh my god. Alright, so there you guys go. So, that's my point. The rotation has to make sense, right? You got to do a lot of rotation moving. Actually beat it this time with more than 25% HP. And the main thing here, honestly, guys, you can do this with Cha as well. So I'm going to be straight with you guys. Alicia's not required here. The only reason why Alicia works out a little bit better in this specific fight is because Cha is really reliant on crit rate, right? And because you're in the red, your crit is dropping quite a bit, even though Min is providing you 12% more crit, even though Igris is giving you guys whatever based on the, you know, if it's elite or knight or whatever you have them at, elite knight, etc. Depending on that, that's how much extra crit you're going to get. You can go from 4% to 7%. So, I mean, that's a total extra 19% there from that. If you have the toughness set on, that's an extra 8% there, right? Remember, your stats are dropping quite a bit in the red. So if you miss up one of her waltz, and this is Cha I'm referring to, there's more margin of error to screw up, okay? So if you are using Alicia, you have a better chance of survival, number one, because of all the crowd control with the freeze, and number two, she's not as reliant on her crit damage, her crit, in order to complete her moveset, right? So if you mess up on a crit with her, it's fine. She can make it up with the next core attack, or she can make it up with her next freeze or her tornado. But with Cha, if you mess up waltz, you only get one rotation of that in because you messed up a crit. That messes up everything. That messes up her alt, that messes up her skills, and that messes up all of her damage. So remember, it's very, very important, guys, to bring in the proper units. Now, Min is essential here. I can't stress this enough. A1 Min is more than enough to do this, by the way. You don't need anything more than that. A1 Min with that extra buff to crit is going to be massive, especially if you're going in lower power. With most of us are going in with lower power. So for those who are struggling with that fight, test this out. Now, I will let you guys know, I have done other tests. I've used SM Beck. Unfortunately, wasn't enough damage because as Bleed does damage, high damage in the beginning, as Vulcan loses more HP, Bleed starts to lose its effect. Now, they have to fix this. I think this is a major issue with Bleed in general, is the fact that Bleed needs to actually do damage based on the max HP of the opponent, not the current HP. So it makes it really useless as you get to like the 40 bars of HP, even 60 bars of HP realistically, it starts to really lose its momentum. So using SM back unfortunately doesn't work very well. Min is massive here. You need him specifically, like I mentioned, for this skill here. The A1 especially is going to give crit damage and crit hit rate a lot more for you to use. And of course, having yourself the Heavenly Blessing is phenomenal as well too, because Heavenly Blessing gives you guys an increase in damage dealt, crit hit rate, again, an extra 12% there. And then of course gives you guys crit hit damage based on the excess of what he has. Now, the main thing to note here, this boots should be crit hit damage. I have HP, this is the best one I had. Unfortunately, I don't have the proper boots for him. So this could have been a lot easier if he had the crit hit damage boots, and that would give more crit hit damage to your units. But it is what it is. I still got the job done, right? So there you guys go. In my opinion, probably the biggest stop for reverse mode for a lot of players. So that hopefully that helps you guys out. I'm sorry I didn't get this out earlier. I've been just so busy with everything else. But there it is. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.